Well, we're kicking things off looking full frontal at the world around us here in New York, here in the United States, and we're trying to be cognizant and of everything that everyone's been going through. Of course, it's still our little TV show, but I think the writers are doing a really, really good job, and I'm just so grateful to be back because I have a job, and it's, Lord knows that's a premium right now. Well, she's been, just like a lot of people, she's been home with two kids during a quarantine. So, like any of us, I think, it's the world was turned upside down, and they made the best out of it. And now she's got her job is even more, like it's important. It's something she wants to rise to the occasion, I think. And as the season goes on, I think being open to, you know, all of the changes, all of the eye-opening perspectives that are being offered right now are going to become very important. It's been on 21 years. That's what speaks to the impact, I think, the most. Um, I mean, if they and we have created a show year in and year out that takes the issues that we're all reading about in headlines and other places, and they go into a playground in the writers' room, and they get to rework some things and figure out like a conclusion, a closure for a lot of people, and I think that is certainly the most impactful in my view. I think where SVU is the most successful is when we operate in the gray, when there's no like definite black or white, definite right or wrong, because that's just not. That's where I think I really respond to individual episodes of this. Whenever it's really operating in the gray, and you're like, man, they have a point, they have a point. Um, that's because so many of these issues, yes, are black and white, but so many of them are, there's so many factors that cause something, and to be able to sort through all of them um, is a Herculean task, and sometimes we try and go there. What I look forward to at the beginning of this season, at the beginning of every season, but more so as time has gone on for me, is just the evolving relationships I have with the other characters on the show. Um, they're deep, they're developed, and each one is different. With Finn, with Benson, now with Kat, and in Demore's character, it's going to be, that's what I look forward to, and seeing how that evolves, and because it's happened so organically over the last decade, so it's good. I'll let the masterminds kind of deal with the really big issues, and I will definitely play my part in bringing those to light. But
Season 21, we left off with the Sir Toby Moore case, which was the conclusion of the season opener. That wasn't supposed to be our season finale, but it turned out that it was. And he delays the trial, and things don't go our way. And then this season, we're picking up post-COVID, post a lot of things that have happened culturally in the United States. And we start with a case of an African-American man getting accused of a crime, and then it goes from there. So it starts with a lot of tension right from the start, and you see a lot of different characters' point of views, and it's it starts with a bang. For what you can expect from my character, I think in this season you're really seeing my character take on more of the role of he's the lawyer now. He's in the district attorney's office, and that is a different position where I think last season you might have seen him kind of more torn. He was, am I a cop? I have these sympathies, but I also have this job. I think this time he's firmly getting rooted in the culture of the district attorney's office, which oftentimes puts him at odds with the squad. With Jamie, she was there all last year for the most part, and she brings like a very youthful energy to the scenes and to the squad, and even to the dressing room with us as a cast. I think everybody else has kids, but she doesn't, and it's this, so it's kind of like she's hipper on the lingo than the rest of us, and I think she brings that on and off the set to the squad room. And then Demore, who I couldn't have been happier that he was made a series regular. I love Demore. I think he's such a talented actor, and he's such a kind of a rooted voice of authority in the squad, and I think he is going to open us up to tons of different perspectives. I think it really does give not just a voice to the voiceless, but I think it also opens up the ears and the hearts of people that might not have been affected by this to other people. I think what used to be maybe a taboo conversation, our shows definitely helped bring that to the forefront and say this is acceptable to talk about, and it's not just acceptable, it's necessary. So I think that is a very important part of what this show has played in terms of the culture of this country and even broader. And to it being timeless, again, it's kind of an unfortunate truth, but these things seem to be, not seem to be, but absolutely are happening and keep happening, whether it's, the most mundane case or it's, a gross abuse of power or something sensational. You kind of see time and time again, these things keep arising. So, we're going to keep hammering on to bring more attention to this and to call it out where it needs to be.
Where we left off, we were just, on season 21, and everything was good. And, usually we have that moment of, well, are we going to get picked up? We knew our ratings were hot. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we got picked up for 3 years. That never happens. We've been going from 1 year at a time, and that's how they do major shows. But then all of a sudden they said, well, SVU is going to be back for 3 years. So we were celebrating, everybody was happy, spirits were high, and COVID. So now we go from getting 3 years to actually having 3 episodes of the last season eliminated. I went into the set one day, and I was the second scene. They had shot one scene. I'm getting dressed, and they just pulled the plug. I'm like, what do you mean pull the plug? They say, Universal just pulled the plug. So they had to actually use my episode as the grand finale. So this season now, it comes in from my episode. It kind of like the situation I was in where I killed that kid's father. But personally, I think we're all excited. We love hiatus, but that was an extended hiatus. And, I think people that don't work, it's cool, but people that are used to working, it bothers you after a while when you just can't get back to your job, So I took that time to do things I said I would do if I had enough time. I would say, if I had enough time, I'd do this. So a lot of houses, got rearranged and stuff, different things, But we're glad, and we came back. We're under heavy protocol. We COVID test every day, and we've managed to stay afloat, because a lot of shows come back and then get shut down, and we're still in there. Cross our fingers, but we're on the 3rd episode right now. Right now, we're shooting the 1st episode that people are going to see. We've already shot 2. There's masks in the episode, like, you're going to see us socially distancing. You're going to see, which is complicated because I'm sure, well, first off, remember this is entertainment. So you can't pick us apart. Like, in other words, sometimes we'll walk in with the mask, but in order to do the scene, we'll take off the mask. I'm sure people are going to say, well, why'd they take the mask off if they're going to talk? Change the channel. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you're coming to do. But we're trying to just represent the situation, you know? And then we take the mask off and we talk. I did a scene today where I kept it on. But if you're gonna watch the show and nitpick, you know, how safe we are, it might drive you crazy. But that's going on. This first episode, it really opens on the situation that happened in Central Park, where the lady felt she was being assaulted by a man just because he was speaking to her in a certain way. Turned out to be a man that had done nothing. But when the cops got there, they profiled him and this, that, and the third. In our show, we arrive after this guy has been arrested, and then we take the heat for that arrest. So there's a lot of soul searching where Mariska has to ask herself, am I profiling this person? Would I have done it if, why didn't we question the white lady? So there's lots of that going on. I think what makes SVU so important to so many people is that our victims are still alive. When you see a normal cop show and someone gets murdered, okay, the victim has no voice. A lot of people watch our show as therapy. A lot of people that watch SVU are survivors. Now, I did not know that getting on the show. I just was like, okay, this is a regular show, sex crimes. But since then, so many people have said, yo, this has helped me. I've gone through something similar like that. I really think season 22 will top all the other seasons because you know Chris Maloney's going to come back at some point. You're going to see that crossover. All the other Wolf shows are running full steam ahead. The crossovers, we might cross over with FBI, you never know. Plus, we're really excited going into season 22. There's so much stuff that's happening in the world. And you know we rip everything from the headlines. So you're going to see all kinds of things, whether it be Black Lives Matter. You're going to see all the issues that we've been dealing with during the pandemic and during the quarantine. They're all built into this new season. So it's going to seem really relevant. In this business, show business, trying to find something that's security, and stable is very rare. So anytime you talk to as far as being an actor, finding a job that's stable, like 22 years, actors envy that to the fullest. So just being on a show that just has been running so solid, that's a blessing. And also just to be in a work environment with people that are so nice and so friendly, coming to work every day has been fun. Honestly, I wouldn't be here if I didn't enjoy it. They told me one day, they said, Ice, we'll know when you're not having fun because you won't show up, you know? So I really do dig this show. I dig working here. I just dig everybody around me. It's a fun place to be. You know, you guys enjoy watching it. We enjoy making it.
It's basically the season's picking up, season 22, by taking the lid off the pressure cooker. You know, we've been in a pandemic. The planet has been navigating this pandemic as well as all of the racial tension and unrest. And we're taking the lid off of that on the show. I am absolutely thrilled to join as a series regular. And we're really going to see Chief Garland trying to be a chief. He's going to be toggling between two worlds. He's going to be toggling between the world of bureaucracy as well as reality. He's going to be dealing with being NYPD Blue and also being Black. Some of the stories that we will be exploring will be not unlike past years. We'll be basically borrowing from the headlines, you know, and exploring matters of race, social injustice, you know, police conduct and otherwise. I think for me, although I'm new, one of the things that I'm most excited about and proud of in the show and what the show represents is its empathetic center. You know, it's the empathetic center of the writers, the producers, the cast, and there is a way in which it's very exciting to see to see the show as being a platform or a voice for the voiceless, for those who feel marginalized or feel unheard. And it's an amazing part to be, it's amazing to play a part in that. And this season will be no different. In fact, I think we're going to turn up the volume on that. I think the timing is extraordinary, where you say, for a time such as this, my arrival, the Chief's arrival, his unique makeup, the makeup of what's happening within culture and society, there is a collision of sorts that everyone is trying to navigate through, and no different for the Chief and for any of his officers as well on the show.
Well, our makeshift finale for season 21, which we didn't realize was going to be our finale, actually really kind of went back to a bunch of old cases throughout the season. And for Kat in particular, the end of season 21 saw her finally getting a serial rapist and murderer put behind bars. So that was a huge win for her. Being back for season 22 feels amazing, both as an actress and as a character. So much has happened to all of us in the world in the last 6 months, and I think the opportunity to start addressing some of that in a public forum through the show is a really unique opportunity. And I myself am really happy as a human to have something to put my energy towards again. Very true to SVU roots, we kick off season 22 with a glimpse of reality. That was something that we had to really consider, was how the events of the last few months have impacted us as characters. And so we start with a racially charged scene in Central Park that really brings to light, the possible biases that even some of our most familiar characters might have. To be a series regular is a huge accomplishment as an actor. It's not only that you get the validation of knowing somebody wants to keep you there, but from an employment standpoint, it's pretty amazing to have a regular paycheck. And that's not to be taken lightly when it comes to your mental health, And so to have the opportunity to not only be a series regular in general, but to do it on a show that's as well known as SVU, comes with as much excitement as it does kind of responsibility and nerves as well. What's interesting is I think what you can expect to see from Kat is a lot of the same, but I mean that in a dynamic way. A lot of what Kat represented in season 21, I think, is even more important in season 22 as she challenges a lot of the norms that you see in policing, in human interactions. And I think that her difference of opinion becomes even more important now in this especially charged atmosphere between police and civilians. Yes, I think something that makes it especially important in the SVU world that we reflect reality is the fact that within the squad room we represent so many different points of view. So we have officers of color, and we have those who may have racial bias, and we kind of are representing all sides of the coin. And I think that's what makes SVU so successful and so impactful, is their ability to sort of represent multiple sides of a particular situation. In particular, dealing with the way that cities and the police officers in their cities are kind of dealing with one another. I think you get multiple viewpoints on that even within one squad room, and I think that's something that SVU does really well. I think as the world evolves, SVU has evolved. I think I watched the pilot the other day for the first time, actually, way back 400-something episodes earlier. And even then, Olivia's voice was one of challenge and really, she's very inquisitive. And I think that the show has maintained that throughout the years. In particular, being a show with such a strong legacy and one that so many people have connected with over the years, I think we have a certain responsibility as well to accurately represent sort of the current atmosphere of the world. And I think that's something that they take very seriously here.